Point of view. You just found out your favorite sustainable brand is greenwashing. You feel a little stupid, you feel betrayed, and honestly, you don't know who to trust anymore. So what do you do now? So first up, let's unpack the moment that this happens. Imagine that there's a sustainable fashion brand that you like and you've supported. You may have recommended this brand to your friends and family. You may have paid more for their clothing because you believed that this mattered, right? And then later you found out that the brand changed and they were no longer as good as they used to be. Or you found out that the brand might have been guilty of greenwashing. After this, you probably felt a bunch of emotion: disappointment, cynicism, frustration, and you may have even felt shame for recommending that brand to other people. If you felt any of these things, you're not alone. In fact, some people, after feeling these things, some other creators have even given up on shopping sustainable fashion and gone brand agnostic. One YouTube creator even made an entire video about this. But obviously, this is not what you should do, right? Giving up and becoming brand agnostic is exactly what the trillion-dollar fashion industry hopes that you will do, right? It's like they hope that you'll give up on supporting brands that are better for the planet, better for clothing makers, and just continue to shop, the conventional fashion brands, like Gap and H&M and Zara and Shein and all of this, right? But obviously your choices matter, right? Like supporting a brand like Outerknown instead of a brand like Gap makes a huge difference. Why? Well, just some examples, right? Brands like Outerknown source from fair trade factories. They source materials like regenerative organic cotton, right? Which supports, it's organic cotton, obviously, but also supporting regenerative farming. And there's just a few small examples, right? So there's a lot of positive good that you can do by supporting these better brands and by basically voting for the change that you want to see in the fashion industry. So do not be fooled into thinking that your decisions don't matter. And so basically, if giving up is not the response, here's what to do instead. So let's unpack why this happens before we get into how to overcome it when it does happen. So the reason this happens is this isn't you being naive, right? This is how the system works. Brands evolve, marketing shifts, sometimes ownership changes, right? And so a brand being good once doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to stay that way. And I'm going to give you some examples of that later in the video. But basically, you might be wondering then, why does this happen? And it's because sustainability is hard and expensive. And what do I mean by that? Well, when I say that it's hard and expensive, what I mean is like it's hard because sustainability requires work year after year, right? It's not something you can just do once and then you're done with it. You have to continue to work on it. Second of all, it requires the brand to incur a lot of additional expenses, right? For a brand to be more sustainable, they might have to invest in things like a circularity program, for example, like new technologies, like more sustainable fabrics, right? Linen, hemp, tencel, regenerative organic cotton. All of these fabrics cost the brand more money to source than, like, say, cheaper, more unsustainable fabrics. In addition to this, if the brand is paying living wages, they're paying more to their factory, or if they're sourcing from like fair trade certified factories, they're paying more, which is often the reason that these brands cost more, right? And so all these things are more expensive. And these additional expenses can sometimes compete with the interests of people in the business. So for example, if the brand has investors, they might want to cut back on some of these expenses. If the brand is big enough to go public, their shareholders might push back. Or if the brand has a new owner, the owner might push back on these additional expenses. Basically, in the conventional fashion world, brands aren't built to stay ethical, right? They're built to grow. So let's talk about what exactly you can do instead and how you can overcome this. Hey, is this video helping you navigate what to do when your favorite sustainable brand is accused of greenwashing? If so, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content just like this. So how do we overcome these moments of disappointment? Well, let's start with the philosophy of it, right? The philosophy is that we need to shift from, brand loyalty to systems thinking, right? And what I mean by that is, like, typically in the past, when we found a good brand, right, we kind of think like the brand is good forever, right? It's like you're loyal to that brand, you're like, oh, this is an amazing brand, right? But we need to shift away from that thinking because, like I mentioned before, brands can change over time. So instead, you need to believe in a system, right? You need to believe in a system that's telling you, what brands are good at this moment in time, which brands can you support at this moment in time, right? So we need to shift from brand loyalty to that systems thinking, basically shifting from emotions and emotional thinking to thinking in systems, right? And the way that you can do that is you need to use a tool that's going to help you navigate these decisions, right? Because obviously you don't want to do all that work yourself. It would be completely overwhelming, right? So one example of such a tool would be Eco-Stylist's brand guide. This is a completely free tool for you to use. And basically our brand guide is a resource of all of the brands that we certify at Eco-Stylist, right? So right now it's around 120 brands. These are all brands that we certify as sustainable, and we're continually updating our brand guide, right? We're thinking in systems, and that's why you can trust a resource like that instead of trusting brand loyalty, because we're continuing to update. I'll give you some examples of this really soon in the video, but just give you one example right now. Let's talk about Nisolo, right? Nisolo was a brand that we used to certify. It was a great brand for many, many, many years, right? So while we certified them, buying from them was absolutely a great choice. You're supporting a great brand that committed to living wages at their factories in Mexico and Peru, et cetera, right? But in 2025, after facing foreclosure and a change in ownership, they were no longer a brand that met the same standards, right? Their new owners had different interests, and so they were no longer a brand that we would recommend supporting. So we updated our research, we removed them from our brand guide. And so this is what I mean. If you use systems like our brand guide, you can navigate these decisions seamlessly without falling into the trap of just like brand loyalty. Okay, so that's how you can navigate these decisions. Remember, the goal is not to be perfect, it's just to make better choices. And so if you want to tap into that free resource, our brand guide for making these types of decisions, and you want to shift to systems thinking, check out the link in the video description for you, and you can check out our brand guide. Now, I promised you all some case studies and some examples, so let's get into it. I'm going to give you 3 examples of brands that shift over time. The first one is going to be Nisolo, second, Natum, and third, Everlane. Very different stories, but you're going to see that a similar pattern emerges, and that is that brands are not constant. They change over time, right? So first, let's talk about Nisolo. I already gave you like a good bit of information about that story and some background on it. So just to say, if you want to check out more about Nisolo's story and see exactly how they changed over time, I actually made an entire video about that. It goes really in depth about that whole story and all the details of it. So I'm going to have that linked in the cards for you if you want to check it out. But basically, just to summarize, like I mentioned before, it's a brand that used to be good, ownership changed, no longer good, right? And that's why supporting them in the past wasn't something you should regret. It was a great brand we're supporting. They just changed later, and now you should support a different brand, okay? Let's talk about Natum next. Natum is a brand that we also made a video about, which you can find on our channel. We wrote a whole article about it as well. But basically, Natum is another brand that we used to certify. They used to be doing, lots of great work. And Natum is a really interesting story because in their case, their ownership didn't change, right? The brand didn't go into foreclosure, have a change of ownership, anything like that. But the motives and the interests of the brand changed, right? So here you had a brand that, used to be more sustainable. They had all these goals for like, they were going to do certain things by 2025 and things like this. And then when 2025 came, unfortunately, they shifted their priorities and they backtracked a lot of that stuff. And for whatever reason, they really backscaled on their sustainability goals and their transparency. So again, Natum was a brand that used to be great, used to be worth supporting, but when they changed, no longer a brand that we recommend. So we updated them in our brand guide, okay? So that's example number 2 for you. Example number 3, and this is a really interesting one, is Everlane. Everlane, it's kind of the opposite trajectory. And this is actually, to be honest with you, this is the only brand that we've ever seen move in this direction. So it's actually like a really cool story. So basically with Everlane, Everlane was actually one of the first brands that we called out for greenwashing, a long time ago. I think it was back in 2019. I wrote an article about it, and that article was super popular, right? And so basically Everlane was like, making a big name for itself in the sustainable fashion space. They were like, oh, we're so great, we're so sustainable. And we said like, hey, you don't offer evidence and proof to back that up. So we said like they're greenwashing, and tons of people loved our article and really appreciated it, right? But what happened is over years, Everlane actually did the opposite. They continued to invest more in sustainability, right? So they took the criticism and they did something constructive with it. They were like, hey, people are saying we're not doing enough, let's do more. And so, they hired a sustainability manager, and they just continued to do work year after year after year. And so that was not a fast process. It's not like, it wasn't like overnight, right? Like I said, I wrote the article in 2019, the original article, and we later certified Everlane in 2025. So we're talking about 6 years, right? And over those 6 years, we continued to evaluate them. Every once in a while, every 1 or 2 years, we'd evaluate them again, see what the score was. And what we saw is continual progress, right? So they didn't pass right away, but year after year, they made continual progress until 6 years later, they passed our criteria. And currently, Everlane earns our gold rating, which is our highest rating. So Everlane is a really cool example, really cool story, because it's an example that brands don't just change in the backward trajectory, right? While it's rare, brands also have the ability to become more sustainable, and Everlane is a great example of that. We wrote a whole article about that digs into it. So if you want to learn more about the Everlane story, I'm going to have that article linked in the video description for you to check out. But basically, different brands, different issues, same pattern, right? Whether the brands move backwards or forwards in their sustainability journey, the point is brand loyalty is not the solution, right? We need systems thinking so that we can, keep track of these brands and like how they change over time and know like, this year, is this brand worth supporting or not? So to circle back on the concepts in this video, if you're feeling disillusioned, that's actually not a bad thing. It actually just means that you're paying attention, right? It's completely normal to feel really disappointed and let down when something like this happens, right? But please don't give up on sustainable brands. Please don't become brand agnostic, right? Sustainable fashion needs you. Supporting these brands makes a big difference, right? It helps those brands make more impact. It helps drive the fashion industry more sustainable, right? Like the thing you don't maybe not realize when you're making these purchases is when you support better, more sustainable brands, you're not just supporting that brand and the impact they're making. Other brands in the fashion industry are also paying attention. So when your dollars go towards those brands, other brands are also paying attention and they're like, hey, we need to be more ethical and sustainable too. So your dollar and voting with your dollar really does matter. So please don't give up. Please keep doing that. Kind of like we mentioned, the solution to this is not brand loyalty. It's, trusting in systems. And when you shift from brand loyalty to systems, this gets way easier, right? And like I mentioned, there's some great free resources to do that, like our brand guide, which again will be linked in the video description for you. While it is a lot more work, if you'd like to dig into it and you'd like to know more about like how to spot greenwashing yourself, as well as how to identify which brands are actually sustainable and good, we made a great video about that really digs into it. So if you want to learn more about that, check that video out, which I'll have linked in the cards for you to learn more about like how to spot greenwashing and how to be a sustainable fashion investigator yourself. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, dress like you give a damn.